Hello and welcome to Team Liquid's strategy guide for Amirdrassil the Dream's Hope. I am Kalamazi, and today I'm going to be presenting Telegon's breakdown of the mechanics and strategy for Mythic Smolderon. Mythic Smolderon is extremely simple, in that each of his main phases begin exactly the same, while his World in Flames intermissions vary only in pattern. There are two important changes on Mythic. The first is that Overheated now spawns 5 lines in a pentagon formation. Although it may seem like there's a pattern to this, it is random, and any weak war that displays lines on your screen will not be accurate for every set. These lines and the tornadoes they shoot can be very hard to see. However, setting your particle density to 0 can help with their visibility. Our players tested to an extreme improvement to their visibility upon changing this setting. The second change is another mechanic called Seeking Inferno. This mechanic creates 4 orbs that spawn one at a time, with slight delays after Smolderon casts the ability. These orbs then fixate a player and begin to chase them. Upon the fixated player's collision with the orb, it explodes for raid damage and applies a vulnerability debuff to the raid. As a result, we will stagger the explosions. To do this, we will use the Weak Warrior and Liquid Amirdrassil raid pack that shows us an ordered list of who is targeted with these orbs. You'll either need a raid leader or trusted player to call who is to break their orb next. The aura displays the vulnerability timer as well as the players who still need to break to make this process easy as possible. If you have no player capable of this, you place the burden back on the targeted players and should simply use the order the list creates. Pair this with a convention where any player who's going to soak their orb calling an audible and you're set up for success. If you do have someone calling the soaks and have the bandwidth to do so, healers should break early going into the intermission, as it allows them to focus more on getting their healing out at a crucial time. Note that the current version of our Weak Warrior functions without interfacing with a macro, but it is possible that Blizzard could fix this at any time. If this should occur, you have to revert to using the macro version, which requires all players targeted with Seeking Inferno to press the macro to create the list of fixated players. Due to the way the private auras work, the aura is unable to know which orbs have been popped using the macro version. It is much more important to have someone calling the mechanic. On Mythic, your space is important, and you'll want to think about how you're baiting lava geysers. Maximize your play space without placing undue burden on your players. For players soaking Brand of Damnation, tanks should almost always face this towards existing lava geysers. Overheated players playing against the existing lava or along the edge of the arena, this allows for movement where the players hit with Brand drop their cauterized explosions under the boss as they move around it, and move away from overheated players. Note that the timings are different for the first and second combos, with the tornadoes and baits going off more closely to the Brand soak on the second combo. The bait happens so early, in fact, that it occurs right after the brand, allowing you to move freely after instead of having to do tornadoes then move to make a good bait. At the same time, this allows them to turn back and face their camera towards the majority of overheated players and the resulting projectiles, making them much easier to dodge. At this point, they should make their way back towards the existing lava and make good baits before either repeating this cycle or entering the intermission. As a general note, you'll want to research the highest damage logs of your spec to determine the best cooldown timings to maximize efficiency when combining both the fight time and damage amp variables. You can also use demonic gateways on World in Flames 1 and 4 for ease and uptime increase. It is imperative you have speed for every World in Flames channel, ideally for the entire intermission. You should play extremely carefully during World in Flames, ensuring you soak all your small buff orbs, as allowing any to reach the boss makes this fight significantly harder. The ring hitboxes are not generous, and you should always prioritize your safety over efficiency in this phase. The most difficult part of the fight is by far the pattern of movement in the Brand of Damnation, Overheated, and Lava Geyser bait cycle. Overheated tornadoes are a difficult mechanic, and while turning off particle density makes them a bit easier to see, 2 additional tips might also help as well. First, be aware where the majority of tornadoes are coming from. Facing your camera toward tornadoes when possible can be extremely helpful. Secondly, moving your camera into the top-down position can help your brain assess the trajectories and safe spots more quickly and accurately. Note that especially in the last main phase, the damage amp he receives after each World in Flames is very apparent. With the gear level you should be at reaching his boss, you should not have to play for every iota of damage and should likely just play it safe at all cost. If everyone lives until they enrage at around 480 eye level, it should almost certainly be a kill. With that, we hope you find this guide useful. Please feel free to leave feedback or commentary below this video, and make sure to keep an eye on this channel as more guides will be coming out soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all in the next one.